We're here at the 2011 CrowdConf after a successful panel in collective creativity with Sean O'Connell, CEO and founder of Creative Allies. Tell us a little bit about that discussion, what themes are coming out of that, and what message you want to leave for the workers from this conference.
Sure, it was interesting to kind of hear other communities that have the same challenges, and also how a lot of us have found the same tactics to keep quality control up, to give upward mobility towards our crowds, so that our best creative workers are able to kind of morph their careers and get more opportunity and more creative opportunity. So it was a really fantastic discussion. It's always great to learn about other people fighting your fight.
I know, and I'm hearing from a lot of CEOs that the answers are many. Some of it is platform, some of it is intricacies in the platform, and sort of soft skills to measure and get the workers to feel like they're part of a working community, and that they're not in an office. Do you have any thoughts on what that would be, especially in the creative world?
Our tactic, we offer opportunities for illustrators around the world to create the art and merchandise for rock stars and other pop culture brands. And so, first and foremost, just that's a door that's not open to most people, outside of New York and LA. So that's a pretty amazing kind of starting place for us. And now it's about, not just a winner takes all platform, but making sure that dozens of people, hundreds of people, thousands of people are actually collecting royalties in real time as their designs are selling all around the world, again, for these big pop culture brands. Recognition is a huge part of it. Rewarding folks is a huge part of it. We're all software based, so there's always systems that can make it better. And I think where we are as a company, we're really focused on our efficiencies behind the scenes, and we're really focused right now on much more on the experience that our consumers are having, that our community interacts with day in and day out.
So you mentioned some pretty big names, and I'm curious, as probably everyone else is, how do you build your pipeline? How do you connect with those people? Are they reaching out to you because it's such a great concept, and obviously crowdsourcing is excellent, especially in the creativity space. It brings a lot of divergent thought and originality. How are you building that pipeline, and what does a repeat client look like?
So for us, we have a huge head start. I own another company that I've owned for 10 years that empowers independent musicians who own their own labels, like Ani DeFranco or Jack Johnson. We even worked with Justin Timberlake for a while on creating a team and executing the strategy and marketing so they can compete. We also do that with the largest festivals in the country, and we're really involved. So there's a huge credibility factor there. We're not the guys who started with kind of the top-down major label focus. All of our artists have careers that have kind of really scratched up from the very bottom, and they've built their way up hand-in-hand with our team. So I have another 12 years experience before even starting this other company, which is called Music Allies. So when we approached this concept, it was first and foremost, wow, there's this huge void of creative opportunity for illustrators, but then we were marketing, and so the platform to sell through, if you want to know how we have this thing, is reputation first. The second is we go to the entertainment companies, and we can show immense value in terms of how 100 designs turn into hundreds of thousands of impressions, almost like that. So the idea of these pieces of art going social, which happens almost instantly in that kind of platform, creates tons of value. So it's marketing, one, and then two, it's marketing pays for itself, because they'll actually get a huge return on their investment on the sale of merchandise.
So it sounds like you completely circumvented having to compete with some of the larger agencies in many ways, or is that still something that you have to do in terms of maybe larger projects or long continuing business or anything like that?
Well, the music space is our starting point, and where we're going is much more in sports, film, TV. Music will always kind of be a big part of our DNA, and we love it. But I don't know if it's circumventing agencies. I think what's happening now is there almost seems to be a infinite volume that we can do. For instance, I just did a week of meetings in Nashville, and it's I could fill up our site for an entire year just based on Nashville projects.
Wow.
So we have barely touched the surface. We've just doubled down, just the folks who were kind of shaking those hands and talking to people. Almost all of our meetings, where they used to be kind of the lower part of the every whether managing company, record label, are kind of now very top down. Everybody sees it, so we can kind of increase our flow exponentially with one meeting as opposed to kind of scrapping together each little project. So that's.
What about challenges in the business? Obviously in design, copyright is an issue, and making sure that you're getting true original work. How have you guys handled that?
Man, you just get a kick-ass community who just ain't gonna take shit from anybody else in the community, and we ride them out of town with Western style, So we're really, really bold about that, and we have some partners in the stock image space that work with us. We bring in really incredibly quality designers. We also bring in young designers. So when we bring in young designers, the truth is they're probably not going to win the contest. Sometimes they do, which is awesome. They may end up getting merchandise royalties, but probably not. And so we work with art schools to send tutorials to them. We try to educate them. We educate them on using stock image. We have a no photo policy right now on the site, so that takes a huge part. It's a very illustrator heavy, and that's what we're shooting for.
I noticed that.
Yeah, a lot of beautiful art, original art, and we think through the stock licensing that all our artists are going to end up, seeing royalties, even if they're one design out of 400 and it doesn't get merchandised. I mean, those designs are really, really good. So we have a no tolerance for copyright control, and if we miss it, someone in our crowd gets it. But we go through a whole process before we ever merchandise or reward anybody.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it, because that's one objection that I think that some people have to crowdsourcing is all, if you do something anonymous, you don't know the quality, and then you look at a site like yours and how beautiful everything is and so much original artwork, and you realize why crowdsourcing will probably expand in the next 5 years more than anything.
I think it's huge, and I don't think it's the answer for everything. I mean, a lot of our business is morphing into direct to these designers as well, and I hear that from every single company here that once you source a talent, it's a starting point. And so my focus is building more recognition, more ways to achieve things on the lower end in terms of talent, right? Because they can be just as good as those folks who are just create the most fabulous artwork, and then upward mobility for the folks at the top end. That they can get more opportunities. They can get guarantees that their stuff's going to become merchandise.
Yeah.
We have a really unique platform. We not only can you become merchandise, if you hit to a certain level, you get a invite. It's not an open invite, and we guarantee that your submissions become merchandise. And so for our very best illustrators, we take all the if you want to go, this word that is talked about around here too much, and with fair spec, spec's a part of it, but I do believe that people who are that good, we can convince every one of our clients that hey, you want this person's art becoming merchandise, and that's a level to get to. Upward mobility is huge for us.
Well, I can't even draw a stick figure, but I feel like I would want to be one of your workers, so that's a great. I want to wrap up. You talked a little bit about the contest model, and that obviously has been primarily how a lot of creative labs have been working in the crowdsourcing space. Do you see evolving? I know that curated content has now been a part of things. What else do you see evolving as far as just gathering workers and getting the best work? It certainly sounds like you guys have done some real modifications to that.
Yeah, I think we're just starting down this road of the merchandising, the stock imaging. So we think we got a long way to go on executing and doing that right. And I'm sure it'll adapt. I'm sure it'll morph. We think my dream is that you walk in Urban Outfitters and you're seeing our designs, that you're seeing folks from all over the world and all over this country. We want to introduce more people on a personal basis to their next job. It's okay if they leave our system. our business designs are not necessarily to be a massive departure from going to a 9-to-5 job. It's great if you can do that. We already have designers who are, earning thousands of dollars. They're getting to go backstage and meet their heroes. They're getting to go to private events, and we obviously have a lot of cachet of what we can offer people beyond. But we have folks who we've introduced them to their next job, and they're really grateful. My favorite story is the guy who won the Jack Johnson contest. Works in clothing retail out of Boulder, Colorado, raising 3 girls. Not your graphic designer. He just did illustration on the side. He loves Jack Johnson, and he won that contest. He got so much fanfare and recognition locally. He's now a full-time designer. He's, which is hard to change careers when you're raising 3 girls, and he got to, take his girls and meet Jack, and that's all of it's huge. I mean, he made some money, he got that recognition. We changed his life, and that's huge.
It's unprecedented access for a fan. You're giving access that, it almost is a backstage pass.
Well, he's an anomaly. Not too many people are aware that less than 40% of our designs, on average, come from fans of the band. So a big part of our thing is that crowdsourcing to just a fan base only goes so far.
Yeah, of course.
And so
a little bit tunnel vision there.
Yeah, well, it's tunnel vision, and it's different perspectives. But we also get these letters like, I didn't win that contest, but I found my new favorite band. I mean, those are huge. And again, we have a different world. They're all now ambassadors. So that one person has 500 Facebook friends, and they have a new favorite band, and there's huge effects even beyond just the workforce.
No, of course, of course. Ripple effects.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the whole industry is providing that, I think. So lastly, you good segue, you brought up favorite band, and I know you have music allies. So tell me who you're liking right now. Personally, I'm having like a Foster the People moment.
I love
I'm from
Foster.
LA. So.
Yeah. But it's kind of, I have a 6-year-old and 8-year-old, and what's so funny is that that's the first song that my kids like really embrace in pop culture.
Yeah.
And my 8-year-old's in 2nd grade, so of course he's reading, and he's like, well, let's look up the lyrics, Dad. And I never really paid attention. I was horrified.
I was going to say, you don't want to do that.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I have too many favorite bands. I won't point them out, but what else?
Genre.
No, you know what? I'll answer really differently. I'm so inspired by what's happening. In music landscape, there's a great article in All Things D this week about how musicians are monetizing. It's not about the recorded music business at all. More people listen to music. There was a study that came out this week that 5 of the top 10 Twitter lists are musicians, and 40 out of top 100, whatever those numbers were, they're significant. So these musicians have a huge voice. Obviously, we're taking advantage of that at Creative Allies. It drives a lot of demand for our services. But one of the things that's happened in music that doesn't really get a lot of publicity is I'm not a genre person. I love metal, I love bluegrass, I love soul, and
Me too.
but traditional media just caged us in for so long. We probably grew up in the same era, and so we had our Rolling Stones and our Spins, and we had our 3 TV stations and a few radio stations.
Music, we won't name names.
Yeah, and so now I've been really involved in bringing the European festival model to the United States, and we sell just tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in tickets to these experiential festivals that bring 10 to 100,000 people in one place who are sharing music that doesn't necessarily have any genre tie, and it's fabulous.
Oh, yeah.
So I think right now, in the time of like music discovery and loving bands, it's never been a better time for the consumer. And then this experience of kind of sharing that with people in a very one-on-one fashion, in the middle of a field or in the middle of a city or wherever that is great.
I already have my tickets to Coachella. You're preaching to the choir.
Right on.
I don't even know who's playing. I just bought them.
So I'm copping on the naming a favorite band is like picking one of my kids as my favorites. I'm not doing it.
I figured it'd get you talking.
Yeah.
Well, listen, thank you very much.
You're welcome.